Today on Cooking with Mr. Dog Poop, we're gonna make shrimp with a tomato basil sauce served over pasta. First thing you're gonna need is shrimp, some tomatoes, olive oil, some basil pesto sauce, garlic, and an onion. We've got some nice vine ripened mini tomatoes we're going to take off. And if I use grape tomatoes, I won't cut them, but these are a little bit larger. We're going to throw them in the pan, sliced in half. It's always best to cook with fresh ingredients. The difference in the taste between fresh tomatoes and processed spaghetti sauce is ridiculous. So those are our tomatoes, a little olive oil. We're gonna sear the skin, roast those, keep them mostly whole, but start breaking them down. Meanwhile, we're gonna cut up some garlic and onion. We don't need a whole onion for this recipe, but they don't sell half onions. Feel free to use the whole onion. We'll go ahead and put that half on the side for later, and then we'll dice this up nice and fine. Cut it into slices. Just put our onions on the side and then cut up a good sized clove of elephant garlic. I love the elephant garlic, it's so easy to peel. Go ahead and dice up your... Okay, lesson learned, don't wear a hat that's funneling the garlic smell into your eyes because it is really burning my eyes. Take a look at these. Those, you can hear those sizzling. We're gonna get them nice and heated up. We're gonna sizzle them, get them cooked down a little bit, and then we'll start adding our other ingredients. I have two types of pesto here, Delano and Lucchini. Both good, use what you want. It's a basil pesto. It's got olive oil and basil in it. The only thing we really need to cook is the shrimp. But we're cooking the tomatoes first. And then we're going to cook the shrimp in the tomatoes. And can you see how the skin has roasted on some of these? These are roasted tomatoes as opposed to smushed in a blender and turned into a sauce. And we're going to keep cooking those. Most people think that gourmet cooking has to be expensive or complicated. It doesn't have to be either. This is a gourmet recipe with just tomatoes, some pesto sauce, a little bit of garlic, onion, and shrimp. Is going to taste amazing. It's easy to make. All the flavor is going to be in the pesto sauce and the tomatoes. Natural flavors. Let the flavors speak for themselves. Don't add a whole bunch of seasonings. Don't add a whole bunch of this and that. This is going to be just an absolutely delicious meal. You'll see that starting to cook the tomatoes, turn it into a little bit of a sauce here with the olive oil. The reason we'll throw in the shrimp last is to get all the flavors, and it cooks very fast. This is going to be the longest part of the cooking. So as those are roasting, we can go ahead and put in some of our pesto sauce. How much? We'll be generous. Generous amount of basil pesto. Fresh basil also works very well, but this has a lot of extra flavor in it. Go ahead and add in our onions and garlic. And put onions in based on how much you actually made. If you cut up too much onion, you don't have to use it all. Garlic, I feel like you can never have too much garlic. Now you'll see this is starting to turn into a gourmet looking sauce. We're going to try to keep our tomatoes intact so they're large chunks, but we're still going to have plenty of sauce for the pasta. We'll let that simmer down and cook some of these tomatoes down a little bit more. Kind of where you want your tomatoes to be, just down to the skin. You don't want to have someone try to bite through a tomato like that that's hot. We're going to cook them down a little bit. I don't care what kind of sauce you buy at the store, it is never going to be this good. You can do the same thing with grape tomatoes. You can do the same thing with full-size tomatoes. You see how fast that sauce cooks up. Just a few minutes ago, this sauce looked like that. And now we can start putting our shrimp in, and that'll give the sauce a little bit of a seafood flavor, and it'll give the shrimp a little bit of a basil flavor. And those shrimps are gonna cook pretty fast. You can see, if I turn one over, it's already pretty much cooked. Another word of advice, don't cook shrimp with the tail on. Everyone cooks it with the tail on. One, there's poop under the tail. And you know how Mr. Dog Poop doesn't like eating poop. Secondly, nobody wants to bite into a tail or get a piece of a tail in their bite if it falls off. Clean these things out nice and put the shrimp in there. Give your guests a good experience and not a poop experience. We went from a few ingredients to gourmet. We're gonna get some pasta out and give us a couple more minutes to simmer and then plate it. Try it out. Last thing to do, scoop it over some fresh pasta. And that's how to cook a gourmet meal in under 15 minutes with almost no effort. And if you serve that to someone and they say you're not a gourmet chef, get rid of them. That is a beautiful, delicious recipe, super easy to make, not expensive. You can be an Italian chef like Mr. Dog Poop. Okay, ready? Stop walking so I don't hear your feet. We're gonna have to get you some slippers or something. Well, they make a lot of noise. You make a lot of noise because you're heavy on your feet.